This this piece of shit is the worst movie in existence, as far as I'm concerned. There are cheaper and technically more bugged movies like Asylum's Trollland, the troll ripoff with you look. The animators are there were seriously. I don't know if the work was rushed or anything, but that really that movie broke me. But not for the plot, not for the characters, but just the execution. It was horrible, but it was a coherent movie with a very stupid and weak plot, but way better than this. You can find this as Immortal Warrior or Opapatika. You know, the English release and the original title of that. Opapatika is who this guy and all the others are supposed to be. And on some foreign releases like the English or international DVD, it has it's from the directors or producers or whatever of X-Men 2. So this is X-Men 2 from Asia because there are superpowered people in it and whatever. Well, it is technically, in an aspect, it is not the worst movie in existence because someone put money in it, actual money. But don't expect anything like X-Men or anything of decent because these people, and more on the backside, have no special effect heavy abilities. There are no laser blasts, there are no explosions, there are no regenerated limbs. It's one of the guy can always hit its target. The other, if you kill him, he will resurrect or respawn or regenerate. It's some kind of rebirth process. The other has, oh, and they all have special weaknesses, like the guy who always hits its target will suffer the damage he causes. Well, in theory, because the movie didn't really care to put all the damage wounds because, I don't know, either laziness or money restrictions. But then why you do that, I don't know. Now, what this movie is about, there are these Opapatikas who are some, I don't know, look, I tried to look it up on the net. It is supposed to be some Taiwanese or Korean or some kind of Asian stuff, but it looks like it's fictional. They made it up. In theory, you can reborn as an animal, a human, or a god or something, or you can commit suicide and get superpowers with super weaknesses. Then what happens with these people? Do they reborn when they die? Because the main villain of this piece of shit is has the weakness to live only for 100 years. But on the other side, he's supposed to be the second Opapatika after the immortal one, uh, who and the second one is supposed to be around from the almost the beginning of time, but he's just hitting 100 years. In theory, this supervillain is hiring our protagonist, who is on the cover, to hunt down other Opapatikas or some evil Opapatika. Look, doesn't matter. The point is, he wants to live longer than the 100 years, and he wants to eat the heart of the immortal ones because then you gain their ability. Sorry, and then you will also gain their weaknesses, I assume, uh, because you know the protagonist gets a superpower of the sixth sense. He's telepathic or some shit. It's barely explained, but it's work like he sees into the future in a, you know, in X-Men there was this blind woman, the mother of Mystique, at a point, uh, who could do, who had the ability very similar to this, practically the same. Now the point is, the ability's cost is whenever he uses it, not much thought is given into this because this is a passive ability, so he has no activation, he has no control over it. He just does it. It just happens. So I don't know what to do with this. Seriously, any aspect of this. So he loses a normal sense, like touching or seeing or hearing or smelling. And in the end, he becomes practically a statue who can do squat. It, I would say he's pretty safe on this heart-eating stuff, but if this whole Opapatika thing is about collecting all the abilities, then you should get his too, and what? Also, how many are of these? This is a global thing, or this is like Highlander that only one can remain, or what? And the protagonist is supposed to be a cop who is investigating a serial killer who turns out to be an Opapatika. This is done in the first fucking minutes of the movie. So this plot is is thrown in the garbage bin. I don't know. And look, what happens is he finds these Opapatikas for he doesn't even know Opapatika is a thing. Just thinks they are some. He found some criminal head, you know, some mafia boss, and the mafia boss gives him a knife. Okay, so you want all these powers? What power? Whatever. Kill yourself. And he does it. It's worse than the fucking Balaam's donkey. What is even happening? Wasn't he supposed to, you know, because there is a background text summary of this whole thing. He's not supposed to do that. And like 1/3 or halfway through the movie, there is this other cop who is going after this cop who turned bad or something, but then he is switched to be part of an organization who are hunting Opapatika, and they always die. He always loses like 20, 50 men in each action, and they never achieve to kill any or capture or whatever. Because you know they are supposed to kill these, but they instead try to capture them, and it turns out they too work for the evil Opapatika who wants to be immortal. What even is happening? Oh, the first cop is sent after this other Opapatika who is supposed to be bad influence, and he never does any investigation of this at all. He's just sitting around for the movie and sometimes do action stuff, some semi-okay martial arts stuff, but it's nowhere like Crouching Dragon, Hidden Tiger, or whatever that movie was, or, you know, any Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee shit. Just, there is this woman who each of the, I don't know, 5 or 6 Opapatika is in love with at the same time, but they don't know about each other. What? And it is actually the evil Opapatika shapeshifted because he has that power now too? What? Seriously, nothing is explained. Nothing is coherent in this. There is no trajectory of this thing. And some of the Opapatikas you don't even see or understand what they are supposed to do, like that werewolf guy who is supposed to suffer because the human don't like that loses all his memory from the night, but the night don't like that daytime personality is just weak. But this doesn't work that way because at a point the daytime personality is suffering from existing at all because he is weak, and now somehow he turns into werewolf guy. Actually, he doesn't even turn, he just does that. And the only problem of his that he sometimes kills people, maybe, or there is the other guy who splits into two. He's supposed to be protected by these ghosts, but it's actually just a projection, astral projection from him what is, has claws and stuff and has super speed. And I never understand why no one is aiming his human body. Shoot it and this is dead. Done. End of movie. So the superpowers don't work, they are not utilized, they are inconsistent. The relation to the characters are not there. It's just stuff happens on the screen. And it's just, why is it anything is... So in the end, it's a really horrible experience, and you don't... Where are all the people? Where are all the Opapatika? Because, okay, there are only this selected few of Opapatika. Okay, I don't know what happened with all the Opapatika in Australia or in the US, because this plays in Asia, also Africa, should have Opapatikas, obviously, because people get suicidal everywhere. Not to mention Europe, but Europe and Asia, you can consider it somewhat the same place in a sense. But, there are all these other places, whatever, but it seems at a lot of occasion that the Opapatikas live in their own dimension, so they don't take the same place as the normal humans. So of course they should never meet, but in the next you come up with this werewolf guy who kills people, and sometimes there are people there is this Opapatika killing organization, so that pulls out people from somewhere, apparently thin air, but those are supposed to be humans. But when at any point in the movie, you the the characters, the whatever goes on the street, there are never humans. Where are all the humans? I just don't get it. So, and there are all these possibilities for plot and events, like the two cops fighting each other or something, but they never do. And there is the investigation for anyone, but never happens. And the human cop just shows up at places where the Opapatikas happen to be, because he just knows, like Harry Potter. But fucking, and how long did exist? How they fit into any of the world? Why are they only a selected few? Why are they not replaced? What's with all this Gota Ketchumall aspect of the abilities and her teaching? Why only the boss of Opapatika does that and no one even considers that? Because, there is this tiger girl who eats in front of everybody. Why? How? What? And if Immortal guy has a problem with this dude, why doesn't he do anything about it and just hang around until he's hunted for? And seriously, at the end, it's the told to protagonist guy who loses his senses gradually, that you will turn, when you lose all your senses, you will turn to one of us. Didn't he turn into an Opapatika when he slashed himself? And if he needs to, the drawback go all the way, wouldn't the boss Opapatika turn into real Opapatika when he gets to year 100? And if this is his weakness, how long do others live? Are the others immortal? They don't have this lifespan weakness. Maybe they are, and Bossa Papatika is just really screwed over. Nothing makes any sense. It's just horrible. And there are no interesting locations. All this black, gray filter and everything, and it's really just this kind of sick light and this empty streets, and everything looks the same. Seriously, it's nothing. There are maybe 3 or 4 locations. The Bosso Papatika's mansion, but there is just one room inside, one flat of 1 or 2 Papatika living there or something, but that's again just one room in an abandoned building, because there you don't have to pay for shooting. There are some street shots and it's pretty much it. So the abilities are not visually interesting, impressive, don't even go there. The locations are not interesting, the locations are unindistinguishable, and it's just, you can't decipher what should happen, and you desperately into some background info what this Opapatika thing should be according to some mythology, because that could support the movie, off screen, but you would have some background lore, but no. just this disc, and